Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and more on WWE 2K23, where today it's all about War Games. Now I'm going to give you a full rundown of the match, how it works, what's available, and some overall thoughts having played it. But before we get to that, if you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with all things WWE 2K23, then please do hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications, as I'll have more exclusive content coming up very soon. So let's talk War Games, which is the big new addition in WWE 2K23. For anyone unfamiliar with it, it was formerly a WCW match type that's seen two rings side by side and then surrounded by a steel cage. In WWE 2K23, when you select to play a War Games match, you've got a few options available, as the match offers both 3v3 and 4v4 matches, as well as online multiplayer. In terms of arenas, the build that I played only featured the NXT War Games arena, though footage provided by 2K did show off the alternate Survivor Series arena, and then there's also a third War Games arena that was teased, though that one has yet to be revealed. When jumping into a War Games match, the first thing that you'll see is the match introduction, as prior to the entrances, Mike Rome, who's the new ring announcer in WWE 2K23, will give you an overview of the rules, while at the same time a War Games rules graphic will appear on screen. Once the rules have been announced, we move on to the entrances, though rather than include entrances for all of the stars, instead you only get entrances for the two superstars starting the match, as the other team members already appear in the cages. Much like the entrances that we see in the Elimination Chamber, War Games entrances use a similar technique that sees the star use their regular motion on the stage before it then transitions to a generic War Games motion that sees them enter the cage. Once the entrances are complete, the match will begin with the two starting superstars in the left ring, though players are free to move between rings at will. Moving between rings uses the same technique as entering or leaving the ring, as should you hold the right bumper when moving towards the ropes, this will allow you to climb through the ropes into the next ring, or alternately you can tap the right bumper and this will see you climb through the first set of ropes into the trench. Due to the limited space in between the rings, there's not a great deal of actions that can be performed here, though players can slug it out with punches or attempt a grapple move like a DDT. As well as being able to perform moves in the trench area, players can also use strike attacks and grapple moves from the ring area to players in between the rings, as grappling your opponent will result in one of several moves like this. As well as being able to pass between the ropes using the right bumper, players can also use a strong Irish whip to throw an opponent from one ring to the next, as the Irish whip will see your opponent thrown over the first set of ropes, which will then cause them to roll into the next ring under the bottom rope. After around a minute of wrestling with your opponent, you'll notice a new HUD appear with the name of the next superstar to enter, as the game will alert you ahead of time so that you can prepare yourself for the next entrant. Shortly after this, you'll get a 10-second countdown, which upon reaching 0 will see the next superstar let out of the cage, where they're then free to head down to ringside and enter the match. One option that you don't see in the gameplay is that players have a choice of which team gets the advantage by having their team members enter first, as when setting up the match, players can either select a team to have the advantage or set the advantage to be chosen at random. Once a superstar leaves the holding cage, rather than get straight into the ring, players have the option of checking under the ring for a weapon, where you'll have access to the full weapon wheel to make a choice. In terms of which weapons you can choose, players will be able to select tables, chairs, kendo sticks, stop signs, sledgehammers and the baseball bat, with the weapon wheel also able to be customised in the match options, which allow you to fill the cage with up to 6 tables. Once a weapon is chosen, it comes with its own unique animation that sees the player show it off to the crowd before then carefully sliding it into the ring. Once brought into the ring, players can freely pass it between rings, with larger items like tables having unique animations that see them thrown from one ring into the other. On the subject of tables, also available is the option to light a table on fire, as should you have a stored finisher, then you can use the ignite option to light it. As you can see from the footage, thanks to the new ray tracing technology that's been implemented, this year the fire looks even better, as not only do the flames look realistic, but the lighting now also reflects onto the superstars, giving you a more realistic glow. Given that War Games is essentially a cage match, players will be glad to know that all of the gameplay elements from cage matches are also available here, as players can climb the ropes and perform diving attacks like an elbow drop, fight it out on top of the cage, or even dive off it. Also available to high flyers is the Springboard ability, as superstars with springboard attacks can use these to springboard from one ring into the next. Once all members have entered the match, this is when War Games officially begins, at which point the bell will ring and Mike Rome will announce that War Games is officially underway. At this point in the match, pinfalls and submissions become active, and the match then ends as soon as someone is pinned or submits. In the match that I played, once all members had entered the ring and the bell rang, it only took one move for the match to end, as by this point, Brock Lesnar had already taken a beating and his health was empty, leaving Seth to pin him off of a suplex. So on that note, one thing that I would say is that once all members have entered the ring and War Games officially begins, then you really have to be alert to what's going on around you, as it's easy to find yourself in the opposite ring to a pinfall, which leaves you with little to no chance of breaking it up. So that's an overview of the War Games match in WWE 2K23. I found it to be a really good addition and one that's been a long time coming, but now that it's here, I think people are really going to enjoy it, especially knowing that you can also play this match online. So that's the first look at War Games. Let me know what you think of it in the comments, and if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications, as I'll have more exclusive content coming up very soon. Until then though, thank you so much for watching this video. Have yourself an awesome day, and I'll catch you later.